Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Extension and Development Studies, SOEDS. Postgraduate Diploma in Population and Family Health Studies, PGDPFHs. Med 07 to Population Theories, Policies and Programs. Block 1 Population Theories. Unit 1 Classical Thoughts on Population. 1.1 Introduction. Population is an issue to both developed as well as developing countries for the long period of time. The population and its related issues have attracted the attentions of the both classical and modern thinkers to express their view points on population. In ancient times, several thinkers and statesmen has applied their mind on the growth of population and its impact on development and also what should be the optimum size of population of development of the nation states. Although the classical theory of population was emerged in the 18th century, yet many early thinkers have also expressed their viewpoints on population and its issues. In this unit, the classical thoughts on population have been categorized into four types such as early period thinking, pre-Malthusian thoughts, Malthusian thoughts, post-Malthusian thoughts. After reading this unit, learner will be able to I. Explain early thinking on population. 2. Describe pre-Malthusian theory of population. 3. Discuss Malthusian theory of population. 4. Discuss the classical and neoclassical thoughts on population. 1.2 Early thinking on population. It is pertinent to discuss a few early thought on population. It will serve as foundational perspectives on population and development. The Chinese thinker Confucius and some other thinkers have given their views on population. These thinkers were of the view that population is related to agricultural land and the growth of population produces impact on division of land. It also affects the levels of living, internal peace and productivity of the workers. They are of the opinion that the population growth would affect the available resources and therefore suggested for controlling population growth. The Greek and Roman thinkers were focusing on marriage and good. Marriage is essential for procreation of children. This is perhaps due to decline in population because continual wars. Therefore, all Spartans were compelled to get married. The celibacy was punishable by law and denounced in public. The marriage need to be healthy, which will result in children with sound body and mind. The fathers who had 3 or 4 children were being rewarded publicly. The focus was on quality of population and was against the low-quality population who would be burden on the state. Like the Spartans, the Athenian was also interested in the quality of population. They were considered population more from the point of view of defense, security, and government rather than from the perspective of economic resources. To tackle overpopulation and low-quality population, Plato suggested infanticide, exposure and abandonment of the deformed children on the ground of eugenics and even advocated colonization if necessary. If population decreased, Plato's suggestion was immigration. He suggested marriageable age of women from 16 to 20 as the purpose of marriage to bring forth children. Aristotle was of the opinion that excessive number of population will give rise to poverty and enhance social ills. As a preventive check, he proposed abortion and exposure of babies. Aristotle even proposed the limit on the number of children each couple need to have. Both Plato and Aristotle thought of optimum population for city-states. Their viewpoint was based on their idea and looked at size of population in terms of defense, security and government of a nation-state. Plato suggested a population of 5,000 citizens for a city-state as the ideal number. He suggested remedial measures for both underpopulation and overpopulation. In nutshell, Greeks were in favor of limiting the size of population which is appropriate for the better functioning of the city-state. They believe in quality of population rather than quantity of population. Kautilya, in Arthashastra, thought of a large population as a source of political, economic and military power. He was of the view that a population of a village needed to be 100 to 500. Traditional Hindu philosophy considered marriage a sacred act. Marriage of a girl before attaining puberty was considered a pious act. Therefore, child marriages were quite common. During that period, giving marriage to a girl by the parents was being called as kanyadan. Procreation was considered a duty. The birth of a son was considered a necessity for giving pitradan to the dead souls. A girl was denied the right of giving pitradan. A male child was being preferred and considered a necessity. Large families were considered an asset for economic pursuits. In the Hindu society, joint family system was immensely valued. 1.3 Pre-Malthusian theory of population. The pre-Malthusian theories of population cropped up in the beginning of the 16th century to end of the 18th century. The mercantilist school was the main economic thought, a link between the medieval period and the modern period. To mercantilists, for the effective implementation of the policies, size of population is an important component. Customarily, it was opined during that period is that birth rate needed to be increased for the economic and political development purpose. This can be done in following ways: I. Placing various disabilities on celibates. 2. Encouraging marriage directly. 3. Encouraging fertility. 4. Making punishment for illegitimate births less severe or abolishing such punishment entirely. And we. Encouraging immigration and preventing emigration. Stanland, 1904. Niccolò Machiavelli, one of the mercantile right, was of the view that excessive population would decrease through want and diseases, while Giovanni Montero was of the opinion that population, after increasing, sometime cannot increase at the same rate and may grow slowly and even start declining. The limited means of subsistence is one of the reasons for which growth of population will start declining, while other secondary checks were sterility of the soil, bad climate, disease and epidemics. The physiocratic school of thought emerged in the middle of the 18th century, contradicted to the mercantilist thoughts. The thought process did not favor population growth at the cost of standard of living. They were of the view that population growth can be viable only when it results in enhancement of agricultural production, because population has to be fed out of agricultural productivity. Cantillon, one of the exponents, was of the view that the size of agricultural production would determine the size of the population, while Mercier de la Riviere opined that in a well-administered state, population would not increase faster than the means of subsistence. In this section, you studied about the early thinking on population and pre-Malthusian theory of population. You can now able to answer the questions given in Check Your Progress 1. 1.4 Malthusian theory of population. Thomas Robert Malthus, 1766 to 1834, was an eminent classicist and eminent propounder of population theory. His formulation on population was a landmark in the history of population theories. His theory is based on his observation of the Western European population and society. His population theory was in consonance with the capitalist system of economics and deterministic approaches to geography. In his essay on the principle of population, 1798, Malthus argued that sexual attraction between of the male and female would lead to increase in population and may double in every 25 years. Therefore, he predicted that population would eventually grow so large that food production would be insufficient. In other words, the growth of population would overtake the food production in the economy, leading to food crisis. The human capacity for reproduction exceeded the rate at which subsistence from the land increases. Malthus wrote, population, when unchecked, increases in a geometrical ratio. Subsistence increases only in an arithmetical ratio. He argued that the food supply would increase in an arithmetic progression 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, whereas the population would grow by a geometric progression 1, 2, 4, 8, and so on. This is where the population would create problem for the economy. He further opined that the gap between the food supply and population will continue to grow over time. It is shown in the diagram below. Malthus suggested two possible checks which could limit the growth of population: A. Preventive checks and B. Positive checks. Preventive checks. Preventive intends to influence growth of population by bringing down the birth rate. Preventive checks are those checks which are applied by man. Preventive checks arise from man's foresight, which enables him to see distant consequences. Late marriages, increasing legal age at marriage, and self-restraint during married life are the examples of preventive checks applied by man to limit the family. Positive checks. On the other hand, positive checks exercise their influence on the growth of population by increasing the death rate. They are applied by nature. The positive checks to population are various and include many causes arising from vice or misery. The unwholesome occupations, hard labor, exposure to the seasons, extreme poverty, bad nursing of children, common diseases, wars, plagues and famines are some of the examples of positive checks. They all shorten human life and increase the death rate. In brief, Malthus' theory states that 1. The increase in population at geometric proportion and the food productivity in arithmetic proportion would result in food security. 2. Population can be restricted through preventive and positive checks. 3. Thus population influences development of the family, society and the nation states. Therefore, limiting the size of population is critical to development. Criticisms. Malthus's views have been criticized on various grounds. The main criticisms are as under. 1. The validity of population being increased in geometric proportion and food productivity in arithmetic proportion is being questioned. It is argued that the population is rarely grown in geometrical proportion and means of production being rarely multiplied in arithmetic progression. 2. Malthus overemphasized the positive checks and did not visualize the role of preventive checks like contraceptives and family planning. Moreover, human inventions in the fields of birth control, health and nutrition, and agriculture have helped to a great extent to strike a balance between human reproduction and food supply. 3. Malthus was also criticized for ignoring the role of changing technology and the consequent transformation in the socio-economic setup of society. He has not motioned the social change and modernization have role in population control in a nation state. 4. The positive checks of hunger and disease referred to by Malthus do not operate today, except the terrible disaster sometimes caused by tsunami, Katrina, Rita, and floods or rains. 5. One of the vital weaknesses of Malthus' thought is that he neglected the manpower aspect in population growth. 1.5 Classical and Neoclassical School of Thoughts. The classical and neoclassical thoughts on population revolve around the relationship between population and production. Two opposing thoughts were in vogue among the classists and neoclassists. One group of propounders were of the view that population is an asset to production, resulting in improved standard of living. They basically considered increase in population as increase in hand that involve in the production process which lead to rise in productivity and well-being. On the other hand, opposite thought maintained that population growth lead to lowering of production. They viewed population growth from the standpoint of number of mouth to be fed. Neither of these opposing views was conclusively proved because of the lack of empirical and theoretical evidence. It is difficult to evaluate the net influence of population on production, as people have to be viewed both as producers and consumers, contributing to both aspects of production, that is, supply and demand. The neoclassical economists Marshall, in his work on production and distribution, paid little attention to population issues. Thus, from Malthus to Marshall there was a change in the view regarding impact of population from considering population as an important issue impacting development to a doubtful significance aspect of development. But Joan Robinson had recognized the importance of population from the perspective of Malthus. She was of the view that, of all economic doctrines, the one most relevant to the underdeveloped countries is that associated with Malthus. However, in the later years of the 19th century, some economists continued to view the increase in population as a threat to rising standard of living in the long run. From these discussions on classical and neoclassical thoughts on population, the followings can be deduced. I. Population is being considered as one of the several factors affecting production and distribution system of an economy. 2. There was increasing recognition among the classical and neoclassical philosophers on complexities of population and its impact on production and distribution system. 3. It was realized that increase in the size of population would have various impact on the economic development depending on the stage of economic development and demographic situation. 4. Population debates whether it will be beneficial or not lead to the development of the optimum theory of population. In this section, you studied about the Malthusian theory of population and classical and neoclassical views on population. 1.6 Let us sum up. This unit discusses the classical thoughts on population and also covered ancient, pre-Malthusian, Malthusian and neoclassical thoughts on population. The classical theorists were against the population growth. Malthus was of the opinion that if population grows at an arithmetic proportion and the food production at geometric proportion, it will affect the economic development of the nation. However, the views of the Neoclassists was mixed, some viewed in favor while other against the population growth rate. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.